This is a short video presentation on rationalizing denominators. What rationalizing denominators means is we need to make the denominator a rational number when we have fractions. We are never allowed to have one of two things happen. First of all, we never have spelled that wrong. Never have fractions in a radical. Fractions in a radical. And we never have a radical in the denominator. Never have a radical in the denominator. These are two things we're not allowed to have. So when they happen, when you're given them, or they show up in a problem, you have to get rid of them. So let's look at some examples. 2 square root of 3 over the square root of 2. What we do when we have a radical in the denominator is we multiply the numerator and the denominator by the square root of the denominator. I have a square root of 2 in the denominator. I multiply the top and the bottom, always numerator and denominator, and I want you to show this. We multiply it by the square root of 2 in this case, because the square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 4, which is equal to 2. This middle step can be bypassed. And then in the numerator we have 2 times square root of 3 times the square root of 2 is the square root of 6. 2 square root of 6. Our 2's cancel. We can cancel numbers outside the square root, but not outside and inside. Can't cancel here and here. And we end up with an answer of square root of 6. Okay? All we did is we multiplied the top and the bottom by the square root of 2. Now what happens when we have something like 2 square root of 3, 2 square root of 3 over 3 square root of 6? Before we multiply numerator and denominator by what's in the denominator, simplify if you can. Nothing cancels with the 2 and the 3. The numbers outside the square root can't simplify, but the numbers inside the square root can. 3 goes into 3 once, and 3 goes into 6 twice. So this is really equal to 2 times the square root of 1, or 2, over 3 square root of 2. And now I multiply numerator and denominator by the square root of 2. So I get 2 square root of 2 over 3 times square root of 2 times the square root of 2 is 2. And then I notice my numbers here cancel. And I end up with square root of 2 over 3. All right? All right, let's look at 2 more examples. Square root of 24 over 45. Both numbers are inside the square root. Before I do anything, I'm going to simplify. And I know that 3 goes into 24 8 times. And 3 goes into 45 15 times. So I have the square root of 8 over the square root of 15. Now, before I multiply numerator and denominator by the square root of 15, I'm going to simplify. Square root of 8 is the same as the square root of 4 times the square root of 2 over the square root of 15. Square root of 4 is 2, so I get 2 square root of 2 over the square root of 15. We simplify as much as possible. Notice I didn't multiply top and bottom by the square root of 45. We simplify as much as possible, and now I multiply numerator and denominator by the square root of 15. It's always by the radical in the denominator. And I end up with 2 square root of 30. 2 times 15 is 30 over square root of 15 times the square root of 15 is 15. All right. I do not have to go like this. Square root of 15 times the square root of 15 is the square root of 225. And the square root of 225 is 15. Don't have to do that. When we have these square roots, the result is always going to be the number in the radical. All right, one last example, and then we'll be done. 5 square root of 24. 5 square root of 24 over 7 square root of 80. 7 square root of 80. First of all, simplify if you can in the radical. 4 goes into 24, 6. 4 goes into 80, 20. So I have 5 radical 6 over 7 radical 20. Radical 20, though, has a perfect square. So I can write this as 5 square root of 6 over 7 times square root of 20, 4 and 5, or 5 square root of 6 over 7 times 2 times the square root of 5. And we're almost done. Now we multiply top and bottom by the square root of 5. And again, we need to show all our work. So I have 5 times the square root of 30 over 14, 7 times 2. Square root of 5 times square root of 5 is 5. And lucky us, the 5's cancel, and we end up square root of 30 over 14. All right, simplify as much as possible. Multiply numerator and denominator by radical in the denominator. So simplify, multiply numerator and denominator, and then once again we simplify. All right, that's all there is to it. All right, I hope this will make your next assignment easy, and have a great day.